We now move on to that newsies segment, and that's the spotlight. And we're talking about Diane here with the classic, the Blind Shell Classic 2. Some new thing has happened, and Diane, we would like you to talk about it. And first of all, though, I want to thank you for allowing us to review that unit. John did a good job at reviewing the unit, and I hope that when the Classic 3 come out, that we will be the first ones to review that Classic 3. But meanwhile, though, how about you tell us what's going on with what we have right now?
Okay, so just for those who don't know, the Blind Shell Classic 2 is an accessible cell phone that has actual buttons on it. So it does have a screen, but that's for display only. So you can, swipe and tap all you want on it, but it's not going to affect anything and you're not going to mess anything up. So it's all menu driven with buttons. And the big announcement that we had this week is that we now have the BARD app on the Blind Shell, so you can access your NLS books. And I apologize for our international people, since this is something that is a US-based program. But if you happen to be a United States citizen living in another country, you are eligible to get your National Lending Service books, your BARD books, through the the Library of Congress program. So you can still listen to them even though you're not living in the United States.
Wonderful, because that was one of those things I remember that we actually asked about that as to whether or not, and it was one of those things that you thought that you folks were working on or considering doing, and I'm surprised it came this early. So that's a great improvement, and kudos to you guys for doing that. So if you are in the States and you like BARD, I've been listening to some BARD books. Usually I'm not an audio guy, but I confess over the Christmas break, I started listening to a book and I actually finished it. Usually it will take me months, but it was such an interesting book. And so I found a way to listening to those books is by trying to do it in the daytime when I'm not busy or when I don't have much to do, as to trying to do it when I'm in bed. And then it becomes a lullaby. So
yeah. And then you have to rewind it because you missed
exactly.
You fell asleep. Yeah.
And I can tell where I was when I fell asleep. So it's just terrible to listen to books at night at my end.
Don't they have a sleep timer though?
It does. Yes. Yeah,
the one we have, the Dolphin Easy Reader, or if you're using the Audible app, they all have sleep timers, I think. By the way, does the Audible app work on the Blind Shell Classic too?
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because I know you can use the A Lady and the skills, but sometimes if you want to read your whole list of Audible books, if you're like me and you've got rather a lot, that's not very easy to do. You have to actually go to the app and read them.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It works good. It works good on it, actually. It's like the full Audible app. It works with like Bluetooth headphones. The controls for skipping forward and backward all work just like you're using it on a regular Android phone.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So BARD was our most requested app. Everywhere we go, that's always the first question. Can I listen to my BARD books on there? So we are very proud to have this done, as Warren said, so quickly, much quicker, is that a word? Quicker than we anticipated. So, people are already enjoying it. So that makes us very happy.
That's really good. Are there any plans to do the Dolphin Easy Reader for those of us in the UK? And I think it works with other libraries as well, like Australian ones, and I don't think it's just UK.
Let's just say that that's a very strong possibility.
Okay.
And there are some other big ones that are going to be coming out in the next month or so.
Oh, so might you be coming back to tell us all about those?
If you'll have me, I will definitely tell you, because we're just expanding, and the more that we could put on the phone, then the better it is for everybody who uses it. So what's interesting is I've been hearing since the BARD app was released on Thursday, I've heard numerous people say, I think I'm going to get rid of my Victor Stream now. So for the price of the blind shell for $4.89, it's now not only your phone, but your podcast player, YouTube, Audible, Ira, Be My Eyes, Step Counter, all that kind of stuff. And now it's your book player.
And WhatsApp. And
yeah,
can you
WhatsApp?
do Facebook on there? You can do Facebook as well, can't you?
It has Facebook
Messenger.
Messenger. Yeah.
Oh, but not actual Facebook.
No, because we found that the app that they created was much more cumbersome than just going to the internet browser and doing facebook.com or m.
Oh, so you can do
Facebook.
it, but you just go on the website instead. And so what about Twitter?
Twitter is not there yet, but that's a good suggestion.
The other question I had, which I don't know whether I asked you last time or not, but I recently got a new Braille display. Now, I have Samsung phones, but thinking about one person in particular who I know who would love a phone, I think, that isn't a touch screen that would work with a Braille display. Is that a possibility at the moment?
So right now, no, but that's a pet peeve of mine because I think that's a very important thing to happen, not only for people who just want to use the Braille display, but for people who are also deafblind.
Yes.
Yeah, it's something that I am pushing.
I think that's very important. And because I did recommend the Blind Shell Classic to this person, and then she said, well, does it work with a Braille display? I said, I don't think it does at the moment, unfortunately. So that would be on some people's wish list, I think.
Yes, yeah, including mine.
And some people just feel more comfortable to type in Braille than on with the number, the T9 sort of key.
Yeah, so
phone keypad.
And I know it's not anywhere near a good substitute, but it is a substitute that you can plug in a USB-C connected keyboard if you wanted to type that way.
That's a bit tedious.
Yeah.
Well, at least there's something there
it's
for
something,
someone who could use.
But I just don't. I mean, most phones you can just do Bluetooth keyboard. Like I've got a QWERTY Bluetooth keyboard as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be carrying wires about.
Yeah.
It's a workaround, but to me, it's not. Mm-hmm. It needs to be a bit more modernized.
Yeah, I think you exactly hit it, Fee, that when the blind shell first came out, I don't think that they were actually thinking of the market that is actually starting to trend towards the blind shell. It's becoming people who are much more techie. So that's where we need to step it up a little bit.
And not assume that people who don't want a touch screen are too stupid to be techie.
Yeah.
Which I think some people could fall into that trap, maybe. I mean, my great aunt, she's not blind, but she's 100.
Oh, wow.
And she's using a tablet.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
It's not an Android tablet, but she's using a tablet at the age of 100 and sending emails on it. So,
Yeah, I'm actually amazed at what people are doing with their blind shells. So it's much more than I anticipated people would be doing. So, yeah, I agree. We need to step up the technology side of it.
I think that'd be really good. That'd be good, and it's good that you've got this. For US people, it's good that you've got this BARD. Is it like do you download the books through the app? Is that how it works?
Yeah,
and you log into the library, and then you from your own account, like you have a username and password, and then you can download your books onto your phone.
Yes. So, and it gives you
Yeah.
the option to download them directly to the phone or to an SD card.
Which is probably a better idea because I think, is it 16 gigabytes
It
you
is.
have on?
Yes.
I think, again, the new version really, I think, needs more than that, really, doesn't it? If you're allowing people to download audiobooks and stuff, if they haven't got an SD card, I mean, I know SD cards are quite cheap, but that's gonna go a bit wrong if they try and save an audiobook onto the phone, because most audiobooks, well, if they save a few, if they save as many as I have,
Yeah.
well, it probably blow up actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. I think maybe in the next iteration of the phone, it
Yeah, the
should have
next
at least
version it would
32 gigs.
I think
Most
so.
especially when it has such a long support from the classic people.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sounds like
so
a
really,
strange
I think it
band.
will be a nice idea to have a 32 gig version in the next one because you guys
Well, or
give it
higher.
a good support.
Do people get an SD card with it? Do they get an SD card in the box?
So they do not get an SD card. We are starting to develop other packages now, other than just, the box with the phone in it, the battery, and the headphones and the charger. So we're starting to combine making bundles. So that's one thing that will be available, that you could buy, the phone, the case, the SD card, and speaking of the consumer electronics, our CEO was there yesterday looking at all kinds of accessories that could work with the blind shell.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
There's something you mentioned earlier on, Diane, about this phone, most especially in relation with the BARD app. You mentioned something that some people are saying, hey, I'm going to get rid of my Victor Stream. And frankly, you guys have jumped into something that you probably didn't know what you are jumping into. But I think it's a good thing because now you have a phone, like you said, and not only a phone that you can make calls and do whatever, do your messaging and all of that great stuff, browsing, whatever you want to do. But you can also have your books on there. And I've always wondered, Victor Stream people, I'm not hating on you guys, but I've always questioned the whole idea of having another gadget when I have my phone that I can have my books on. But this is a perfect replacement or example of that type of thing because you have all together in one. I think that's a very good idea. Now,
And I
all we
think
need is some more storage.
the price isn't that much different, is it, between the
No,
Blind Shell
we're
Classic
yeah.
and the Victor Reader Stream? And it
We're-
doesn't do
Yeah.
it doesn't do anywhere near as much.
And I love my Victor Stream. I use it every day, so I'm not coming down on the product. I think it's a great product. Like I said, I use it every day, but now we have the ability to have it all in one, as Warren said.
I suppose some of those products are good if you know you're going on, I don't know, a long haul flight or a really long train journey or something, and you don't want to run down your phone battery from reading your books. I suppose that's where something like that would. I mean, for me, my version of that is the Amazon Fire tablet, which again it's a touch screen though, but for me that's fine, and it was like, I don't know, £80 or £60 or something, and the battery lasts for ages if you know you're going to be on a long journey, and you want to make sure your phone's going to still work, like when you need picking up from the station or something. So I can see use case for it for things like that, is good. Personally, I wouldn't spend that much on a product apart from a phone or something that would do a bit more when I can do the stuff on my phone. I think it's great. We've got choice now, though, isn't it? We've got all more choice. We've got Android phones, Apple phones, tablets. We've got so many different things that we didn't have really properly even 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, the technology is just amazing now.
Yeah.
And John,
Are you looking into people being able to read books on there with, like, Kindle books and things like that? Finding a way of turning the page using the keyboard, because again, this was something that my person who asked me about getting a non-touchscreen phone would like to be able to read. She's a great reader, but she likes to read in Braille, not
list audio.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she's always listening to audio on her computer and that when she's doing work, so she likes to read in Braille other times. And I think sometimes she reads some quite dense academic stuff that would blow my mind, but she's a very clever lady. So I think looking into Kindle books would be, it's a great way of getting some books that we as blind people can't get anywhere else, because some of them aren't on Audible, they're not on BARD, they're not on, but they have been published on Kindle.
Yes,
and also it's quite a good way to get cheap books. Sometimes if you look at the offers, they're 99p and things, so is that being looked into, do you know, or have other people suggested that?
Yes, they have suggested it, and I don't know the answer to this. Maybe you do. Can you read those books through Lady A?
You can, yeah, but you can't easily list your books. If you've only got one or two books, it's fine.
Okay.
But if you've got a load of books, like if I ask the A lady for what my Audible books are, it'll tell me 3 or 4, and then it'll say see the rest of your books, go to the app.
Okay.
And I think Kindle is similar in that way. So if you remember the exact title, then yes, it will read it to you. But you wouldn't be able to spell individual words and things if you wanted to check that sort of stuff easily, I don't think. Whereas if I'm reading on my tablet or on my Samsung phone, I can check how a word is, or a name or something is spelled if I don't know.
Okay.
Things like, and I can put bookmarks in the book if there's some really interesting bits that I might want to come back to, like in a reference book in the future or something, or just a really hilarious bit of a book that I want to share with my friend when I next phone them or something.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how it would work because I haven't tried it, but I know on the blind shell there is a repeat button. If you hold it down, it'll actually spell what the phone just said.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that may work for what you're referring to.
Now, talking about what Fee is saying, though, Fee, your friend is not going to be able to do this because she wants to read it in Braille, and we've established that Braille
but
is
if that
not
was in the future,
part
but
of
if
the
Braille,
thing
but
right
I'm
now.
talking about future. I'm in CES mode now. I'm talking about concepts and future and exciting things that we could have in the future now.
Yeah, well, I'm not done, though. Here's what I'm trying to say. Outside of Braille, the blind shell people can still have an ebook reading capability app there, whether it be the Kindle or whatever EPUB reader, in the sense that is going to be verbalized using the TTS. And then, like Diane had indicated, if you want to find the spelling of a word, you should be able to up and down arrow to that, or and try to find the spelling of that word. So I don't think it's going to be so complicated to implement an ebook reader.
I don't always
read
them I don't always read mine in Braille. Quite often I'm lazy and I just want to listen on headphones while I do the washing up or something, But sometimes I do read things in Braille, but quite often I don't. But I know some people want to. But I can still spell out a name or something if I want to know how you spelt that. So I think that an app like that would be a really good.
Yeah, I agree.
Good idea, and you just need one of the keys to press to turn the pages forward or backwards, because obviously that's a gesture on the phone, like a swipey gesture. But I'm sure that could be done. That the phone could be, it would know it was in a book reader, so that these numbers would now do that rather than typing text or whatever.
Yeah, apps can tie into for example, the chess app that was released recently. It's like a game.
Yeah.
You can use the keypad to like move your pieces around. So it's kind of like turns the keypad into like a directional pad.
Oh, wow. That's brilliant.
Yeah. We do have chess on there now. We do have a currency converter. So it'll, change dollars to whatever to dollars. And we have a translator on there now. So it will be able to translate English into whatever or whatever in English.
Yeah, I noticed that. I don't know if you guys did this on purpose or if it was a coincidence or something, but I think I noticed the 4 new apps in the store on Christmas. I don't know if you did that on purpose or not.
We did actually, because apparently, and Fee may be able to enlighten us on this, but apparently in Europe, the big thing in technology is a Christmas surprise. So that's what Blind Shell does every year. They do a Christmas surprise where they release a couple of new apps.
Oh, nice.
No, I haven't really heard of that, but I do know that a lot of people, when the family's all getting a bit intense, they go off and play on their phone for a bit. I couldn't possibly comment as to whether I've done that myself in the past, but when it's all getting a bit intense, however much you love your family, when there's about 13 or 12 of you, it's like, I just need a few minutes of not talking to somebody, I mean, I had a new Audible book on Christmas Day from an author I like that was released on Christmas Day, and my A-lady notified me because I'd bought, all the other books. So that was a nice surprise, especially because I was here on my own. I wasn't with my family because I wasn't well, which was a bit annoying. So yeah, for anyone who's on their own or they just need a bit of downtime, it might be a really lovely thing to make your Christmas even better. What a wonderful. So what other apps did you release at Christmas then? Because the other people listening might be interested to know what new apps that there are.
Yeah, so there was a chess game, there was the currency converter, the translator, and a file manager that now allows people to move things from computer to phone and all this other stuff. So now people aren't just reliant on I guess they're kind of like electronic Pokemon-ish ringtones. Now they can download their own ringtones.
That's good.
Stuff like that.
And can you move things between the phone and the memory card and vice versa as well with this file manager?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, because if your phone gets too full, it's one of the first things I do anyway.
Yeah.
Fee, you mentioned something about the battery, and I think that John, in your review, or when we talked about it, you actually have very decent battery life out of that phone, didn't you?
Yeah, if you're coming from a full-blown smartphone, that you'll get 2 days out of it at the most. This lasts a lot longer than that.
Yeah,
you could probably get 3 or 4 days out of it.
Yeah, it's 96 hours. Pretty much standby time. So it all depends on how much you use the phone. But I generally charge mine every 4 or 5 days.
Oh, wow. But presumably it's not water resistant like a lot of smartphones because you've got the buttons.
Yeah, I would assume no.
Don't put it in your bath, anybody. That's not a good idea.
No. But what a lot of people have been purchasing as a separate thing, and we don't sell it, but you can buy it at like Amazon, Target, wherever, is the new Bose MicroLink Bluetooth speaker that pairs very easily to the Blind Shell, and that can actually be in water for half an hour.
I have some Sonos ones like that.
Yeah.
I actually have a stereo pair that I got over the course of 2 birthdays, one each year. And I have to say, I actually dropped both of those into the bath at different times because I'm clumsy, and they're fine. They still work. I wipe them off, and they're fine. But yeah, don't do that with your Blind Shell, folks.
No,
not a good idea.
No.
Thank you so much, Diane. That's
Yeah,
been
thank you.
wonderful. And so I think you'll be coming on here often and talking about this baby.
Yeah.
Probably, yes. And I'll tell you, if or when Blind Shell is ready to do a Blind Shell Classic 3, I am definitely going to include you guys because you have the best suggestions.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.